My personal opinion on that, for what it's worth, is that no one cares about your brand apart from you until they have an emotional experience with your brand. Guess what? You're now in a niche of one because you're the only person who offers that method. There's a bit of thought there. Personal opinion on that, for what it's worth, is that no one cares about your brand apart from you until they have an emotional experience with your brand. If you imagine it's like a ladder, you are somewhere on that ladder right now in your niche, in your sector, in your speciality. You are somewhere on that pillar, right? The only question is, where are you? Are you at the top? Are you the top rung? Are you the bottom rung? Are you somewhere in the middle? Where are you? You have a positioning right now, you just maybe don't know what it is. Ideally, where do you think you want to be? First. If you can be first in your niche, if you can be first in your field, then you have an advantage. It's unlikely that you're going to be first in your field unless you create a niche. That graph, you can see nobody's really selling low quality chocolate for high price. And nobody's selling high quality chocolate for low price. One of those two might be worth an experiment. One of those two might be worth some differentiation or advantage or distinctive benefit to come into you as opposed to the other four coaches in the queue, right? So we need to position you as a specialist. We need to position you as the go-to guy or go-to gal in your industry. So what are you really good at? Ask yourself these questions. What are you really good at? What are your customers really wanting and what are they really buying? What's the result that you promise? And why should someone come to you and not somebody else? You need to be able to give me a reason. Or is there a stereotype in your field that you could bust? Could you pop that bubble? Not giving me any reasons to think of you any differently. Okay. Specialism also dictates how much you can charge. Because if you're seen as a vanilla also ran, if you're just the same as everybody else, if you're another coach, you're just another life coach or another relationship coach or another author or another speaker. If you say I'm then you're one of a commodity, you're one of a group. And therefore, why should I come and do business with you and not anybody else? You're specialized, niche market, chunk down into niches. Don't be general. Don't be a fountain spraying all over the place and anyone who gets close enough gets splashed. That's what I used to do. All over the place. Narrow it down like a fire hose and go, you're my target client. Look at the various target markets that you would like to attract or practice or delve in and pick one that you've got a lot of experience in, a lot of passion about, and focus on it. The higher your positioning, the higher you can charge a fee. The lower your positioning or the worse your positioning, the lower your fee will have to be because people ain't buying from you. All right. So you'll be able to raise your fees with very little resistance from your clients because people are happy to pay for the expertise. Positioning is not about your product stroke service stroke treatment. It's what your product service treatment does in the mind of the prospect. So you're positioning you in their mind. It's not sender, it's not messenger, it's receiver. Think receiver. What are they hearing? It's how you are seen and heard and felt by your prospect. Do you look professional in their perception? Do you look competent? Do you look experienced? Do you look confident? Can you, guarantee is maybe not the right word, but can they be confident in you that you can get their outcome for them? You'll help them get their outcome. Can they be confident in that with you? Now, in Fully Booked, we want them to view you as a specialist, not as a generalist. You can't be all things to all people and still have powerful positioning. You have to be an expert in something. So things to think about. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? Well, if we ever did. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? Anybody?
Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. Yeah. Who was the second?
We don't know and we don't care.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Right. The easiest way to be positioned is to be the first. The person who's first typically dominates the marketplace, right? Now, if you're not first, which probably you're not, you're going to have to somehow position you on that ladder, right? Beneath whoever's first. Now, what's interesting is the human mind can only handle between 5 and 9 things comfortably. The magic number 7 plus or minus 2. Between 5 or 9 things is what George Miller said the average human being can handle. So if you imagine there's rung 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in about there is where you want to actually be. What we know from Google Ads is that people typically don't click or they don't buy from the ad at the top of the page. They click the ad at the top of the page, look at the products and look at the prices. Then they click the second ad, look at the products, look at the prices. Click the third ad, look at the prices, look at the products. Ideally, you don't want to be number 1 on Google. And if you're running an ad, you want to be like number 3, because people by that point are shopping around. All right. And if you've got an irresistible offer in position 3, you're way more likely to get a sale than number 1 is. Right? Pick one specialism. It might be stress. It might be creativity. It might be abuse. It might be whatever, weight loss. Pick an area that you know and you enjoy and you're passionate about and you know you can get results in, and focus on that. Right? Give you an example. Someone who is a massage therapist. This is a typical massage therapy advert. They have a list of things they can fix. Do you suffer from back pain? Do you play golf? Do you have tennis elbow? Are you stressed out your box? Do you enjoy luxury spas? Come to Jonathan, the massage therapist. Right? Well, if I've got tennis elbow, I want someone who can fix tennis elbow. I don't care about the spa thing. I talk about this all the time. There was a great website I was on. It made me laugh out loud. It was brilliant. There's an organization from Australia called Jim's Mowing. And Jim's Mowing are gardeners. And they've got these nice cute vans and they've got all the gear and all the jumpers and stuff. And one of my clients was a Jim's Mowing franchisee. Strategy. Run seminars, talks and lectures, workshops, retreats, events. Speakers are automatically given more credit than they are necessarily due. Don't tell anybody I told you that. But the minute someone stands on a stage or in front of a group, people immediately go, oh, guru. Right? You can impact more people in the same amount of time. You can actually charge them less, but end up making more because there's more people in the room. So they get a deal, you make more money. Win-win. I trained a young guy called Tony Robbins. The creators of NLP sell neuro-linguistic programming and have maybe 700 people in the room. Tony Robbins sells Unleash the Power Within, and he's got 10,000 people in a stadium. I've trained with him several times. Notice the difference. Notice the difference. What did you do at the weekend? I went to a neuro-linguistic programming seminar. Did you? What did you do? I went to Unleash the Power Within. The name is like a crowbar. It opens up the receiver's mind and inserts the message. Okay. The against position. This is a great one. The against position. You tell the prospect what your product or service or treatment is not, rather than what it is. Okay. So it offsets it and therefore differentiates it by definition, standing out from the existing competition. So for example, the Aston Martin Vanquish, the James Bond car, versus the Vauxhall Astra. Okay. The Aston Martin Vanquish has a lot of the same components as a Vauxhall Astra does, but its position is a completely different car because it's associated with the James Bond stuff. In this country, I don't know if you get them in the States, but there's Lidl and there's Aldi, which originally came out as low-cost supermarkets, wholesale price supermarkets. So the public could go in and get stuff at cheap prices, as opposed to going to Sainsbury's or any of the big normal high street name chains. They were deliberately positioned as cheaper, but same quality. In the UK, we used to have a range of products called Fine Fare. They produce a thing called Yellow Pack. Will you remember Yellow Pack? Everything. Yellow Pack tea bags, Yellow Pack coffee, Yellow Pack biscuits. It was the cheap alternative to the real deal. Can't knock the number one off the top position. can you get around them or over them or under them somehow by moving their position in the public's mind? This is rather sneaky. People love to watch disasters. They enjoy, I call it vulture culture. People love to enjoy the drama and the grief and the people falling from grace, unfortunately. So could you do that to your competition? Could you point out a flaw? I did that with unhappywithmynlp.com. I deliberately put a thing out there that says, yeah, there's a lot of cowboy trainers out there who are really making a hash of it and pissing people off. Come to me, I'll retrain you for a fraction of the price. Can you point out the flaws or point out the weaknesses? I think the authors of the book Positioning once said that the objective of your marketing should not be to educate your customers, but to terrorize your competitors' copywriters. You don't want to have this situation happening. You want this situation instead. Are your competition doing something visibly, publicly, openly that you can position as a detriment or as a flaw? And then you exploit that and you shout it from the rooftops. And the more they do it, the better you look. That's positioning level strategy number 9. These are strategies for you to wrap your head around, for you to look at ways to position your business differently and to see if you can exploit any gaps in the market or reposition the competition or just make yourself more exclusive. The more you can make yourself unique and different and stand out and visible, the easier it is for people to find you. And if they find you, there's a good chance that they'll hire you. And if they hire you, you get paid. And that's what this is all about.